What's up, guys? Hardcore Horror Nerd here, and I'm back with a brand new video. It's been a while, I've been pretty busy, and I just thought I'd get back to making some videos now that I'm not so busy. So today is going to be pickups slash talking about what I've been doing lately. First up, let's start with the pickups, and my first pickup is the Mondo Target exclusive True Detective Steelbook. Um, Again, Target exclusive. Mondo has been putting out a few steelbooks here and there, and all the designs on them are pretty cool. But this one, honestly, is my favorite. It's a steelbook with a slipcover, so that slipcover comes right off, and there's True Detective and the special features and episode guide on the back. But the steelbook design itself is pretty awesome. It's a 3 disc set, and on the inside design, it's a Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey just standing there in front of the tree. I just honestly, I love this show and I love this steelbook and can't wait to watch the whole first season again. I haven't been much of a fan of the second season. It's been kind of slow, but then again, I've only seen like the first 2 episodes, so maybe I need to check it out and catch up and see if it's gotten better. Next up is one of my favorite movies of 2014, and that's Boyhood by Richard Linklater. Um, I absolutely love and adore this movie, and I felt like it was snubbed at the Oscars and all that. It should have won more than it did. It was the story of how he made it is amazing. It took him 12 years to make it because he wanted to use the same like family every time he shot scenes. And the story behind how he made it, the storyline, and just everything about this movie is wonderful. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Next up is one that I picked up because it was cheap. I hadn't like read or seen anything about it much other than like the previews on TV here and there. And so I decided to check it out, and I actually ended up really liking it. And that's John Wick with Keanu Reeves. It was really good. Like I was pretty impressed. The action in it was amazing, and just I'm not a huge Keanu Reeves fan. I feel like every movie he's done since The Matrix is just a redoing of The Matrix, just in a different way. But this one I was pretty impressed with, and it actually surprised me on some of the action sequences in it. Next up, I got this from a friend, and it's one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies. Honestly, it is my favorite of the entire series. And I get a lot of hate for that, but I just love how cheesy it is. It's Jason X on DVD. Jason X standing for Jason 10, which is the 10th installment of the series. There's just something about this particular movie that's just amazing. It's over the top cheesiness and not your average slasher movie, I guess. I love the sci-fi aspect to it, and it's just really good. And like one of my favorite parts is when he reenacts the sleeping bag scene. There's just something about it that I've always loved the sleeping bag kill. It's my favorite kill in the entire franchise. And when they reenacted this one, it's just amazing as always. Next up is something I've heard about and I've been wanting to check it out, and I was unable to go see it in theaters, and I saw it came out on Blu-ray, so I decided to buy it without knowing anything about it, and and I surprisingly loved it. And it's Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, and I think Bill Paxton's in it too. But yeah, it's just really, really. It's got a very dry feel to it, where the mysteriousness of it, and Jake Gyllenhaal's character is super crazy in it, and he plays it so well. Again, if you haven't seen this one, check it out. I highly suggest it. It's a really good, like, I want to call it an action. It's kind of like a neo-noir type film. It's just really awesome. Check it out. Next up is Steelbook of Fury with Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, Logan Lerman, some other people. But yeah, this was one of my favorite movies of last year. And yeah, I really, honestly, it's one of the best war movies I've seen in a while. The like a couple cool things I learned about it were the fact that the director made Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf and all the other cast members do an actual boot camp, like military ran boot camp, and the Tiger tank that they fight, the German Tiger tank that they fight in this, is the last surviving workable German Tiger tank. Really awesome movie. I just love the design of the steelbook. It's very simple and sleek, and has a really awesome quote on the back. It's just an amazing design for a really awesome steelbook. Um, Next up is one of the cheesiest movies I've ever seen, and a lot of people don't like it, but I do because it is cheesy and it's terrible, and I really love cheesy, terrible movies. And it's a Midnight Movie. This movie came out in 2008. It's a slasher film, and basically these kids are watching a movie, and the guy who directed it killed people during the making of it, and he gets sucked into the movie and is coming out of the screen and killing people in the theater. It's got like this mysterious vibe to it, where there's one part where a cop shows up outside of the theater, but he can't see anyone inside the theater, even though they're standing there right at the door and banging on the door. He doesn't see him because the killer doesn't want him to see who's in the theater, something like that. It's not for everyone. Again, I liked it because it's over the top cheesy and kind of a little bit lame, to be honest with you. But it's also very unique. It's not like your average slasher film where it's just people getting cut up. It's like there's just something unique about it, and I think it's like the whole plot of like thing is that the setting. First of all, like I like that's a really cool setting for a horror movie is in the theater, and just kills are gory and everything. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next up is a classic I got on DVD, and it's Spaceballs. Not going to say much about it because if you haven't seen Spaceballs, then you're missing out. But yeah, Spaceballs is just amazing. Next up, bought this on Amazon. Really glad I did. Haven't watched more than a couple episodes yet, and I've been meaning to watch more. But that's Clerks, the animated series, uncensored. It includes all. I think there was only like 8 or 10 episodes with 4 unreleased. So there you go, Clerks. It's a 2-disc set, and each episode does have a intro by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith as Jay and Silent Bob. It was a made-for-TV type series, so it's not like your average Kevin Smith like dirty jokes and 37 and stuff like that. It's very like they put subtle adult humor into it, and honestly, the first 2 episodes I saw I really loved. I can't wait to check out more. Next up is another Jake Gyllenhaal movie from the writer of Training Day, and that's End to Watch, where he plays with Michael Pena, and he plays a L.A. cop, and they're wanted by the drug cartel. But it's an interesting concept. It's not like all about police corruption or like dirty cops or anything like that. It's about the unity and brotherhood of police, and it's just a really interesting film. And it's also it's more of a found footage film too, because all the camera angles that you see are on body cams that Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena wear. It's bare and like some helicopter scenes too, but like it's barely like the director's there. He just gave Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena and everyone else a camera and said, "Go film yourself being a cop." It's pretty interesting. Check it out. Next up is the original Mad Max. Now, I know in my last video I had the VHS. Well, I found a Blu-ray steelbook for it. Yeah, Blu-ray steelbook for it. It's a really awesome steelbook. The one thing I don't like is the spine for it is connected by like some metal pins, so it's flimsy. But it also came with some behind the scenes like cards, like picture cards, which is pretty cool. The design of the steelbook is really nice and sleek, and I honestly love the first Mad Max. I still haven't seen 2 or 3. I did go see Fury Road, and it was amazing, but this will always be the best one in my opinion. Next up is from David. I think David Fincher made this one. Yeah, Fincher, and that's Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Haven't seen it yet. Someone on Instagram told me to pick it up, and so I did, but I just haven't sat down and watched it yet. Next up, another by David Fincher, and that is The Zodiac, also starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Um, I love this movie. It's very much like The Town That Dreaded Sundown to me, where the mystery of who the killer is and the fact that he's never been caught, and it's a true story. I love it. I have an issue though. Whenever I watch this movie, I will literally like Google everything I can about the Zodiac for 2 days, trying to figure out who it is. It's kind of funny and dorky, I know. Next up is another David Fincher film, and that is Gone Girl on Blu-ray with um, Batfleck or Ben Affleck. I loved this movie in the theater. It was just so amazing. Everything about the visuals of this movie and the soundtrack of this movie, everything about this movie is perfect. Next up is my final Blu-ray and final Steelbook, and it's Clint Eastwood's American Sniper. This movie is just beautiful as a movie can be, and just, I love everything about it. It's a really great honor to Chris Kyle as a person and as a hero, an American hero. And just the steelbook design too is beautiful. And Clint Eastwood makes some really good movies. Bradley Cooper really did an amazing job with this movie. And yeah, it's honestly another favorite movie of mine of 2015. I know it came out last year, but I didn't see it until January of this year, so it's really good. Um, so while I was gone, I was I went to Chicago for Walker Stalker Con, which is the Walking Dead convention made specifically for the Walking Dead, and I got to meet like about 50% of the cast. I know Chandler was there. Chandler, Chad Coleman, a bunch of people were there. Like Rick, the guy who plays Rick, Andrew Lincoln, and Norman Reedus weren't there, but I still had fun. My ticket was the Stephen Yun, the guy who plays Glenn, VIP. So I got to get a signature and a photo op with him, and it was a lot of fun. I loved going up to Chicago. It was really cold because it was in February, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I met some cool people there, sat in on some cool panels, and got. I didn't really pick up much. I just used all my money to get signatures, and all my signatures are actually on a map of Terminus. So I'll probably take a picture of it and put it in the end of this video, but it's because I don't want to take it off my wall. But it's just the Terminus map, and then I had everybody sign wherever they wanted to. What was really cool is Carol, the lady who plays Carol, Melissa McBride, and Chad Coleman, who plays Tyrese, both of them signed when they're filming here in Georgia where they live. That was pretty cool. While I was there, though, I did pick up Michael Myers pop vinyl. Finally, this is one I've been wanting for a while, and I'm really glad I got it for a good price too. I love these pop vinyls. They're just so cool, and they're coming out with more and more like every day, and all their designs for them are just insane. I also picked up a Prison Glen pop vinyl, and I actually bought it so I could hold it during my photo op with Stephen Yun. And again, just love these pop vinyls. They're such a cool toy. Um, I also, me being a huge fan of Kevin Smith, I watch anything he does, and every time I watch The Walking Dead, I wait and watch Comic Book Men next. And actually, Ming Chen from Comic Book Men was there, so I was able to get his signature, which I'm pretty really happy about. It was an old photo of the cast. You know, you got Ming, Brian, Mike, Walt, Kevin, of course. Um, and then me and Ming actually got to talk about GoPros for a few minutes because I was using my GoPro to take pictures and make a video for it. I also picked up a lot of vinyl while I was there. Or, not in Chicago, but while I was gone. So first up in the vinyl is one I just got like last week, and this is the Dokken Dream Warriors Nightmare on Elm Street 3 theme, 7-inch from One Way Static Records on a yellow vinyl. It's a tiny little vinyl too, which I love. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Um, the people selling it, One Way Static, they also have a subscription based uh, membership you can do. And so the variant of this yellow one is a Freddy striped one, which is green and red stripes. Um, Next is one of my favorite bands, and that's Daft Punk. This is their Homework album with songs like Around the World and Da Funk. It's a double LP, so gatefold too. So there's the inside sleeve, and then just your typical black vinyl. Nothing fancy about it, but it's really fun to listen to through my system. Next is a rap duo that my brother got me started listening to. One's from Atlanta, one's from New York, and the one that's from Atlanta actually does a lot of things with Outkast. It's Run the Jewels, and the two rappers in it are Killer Mike and LP. Again, gatefold vinyl. So there's the front, there's the back, and here's the inner side. It's probably the best album of 2014 in my opinion, and it's also a colored vinyl. It's a teal, like a teal green color. Um, One of my favorite albums of 2014, and it's really fun to just like blast through my system. Next is Marilyn Manson's latest album. I believe, oh man, I forget what this one's called. Typical, it's your usual black vinyl. What is this one called? But yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Manson, and this is honestly one of my favorite albums by him. Next up is the Gone Girl soundtrack by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. They also did the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo soundtrack and the Social Network soundtrack. And I believe Trent Reznor did the Fight Club soundtrack back in the 90s. Again, it's a gatefold vinyl. Just everything about this vinyl is just beautiful. Just that cover, the back, the gatefold. They really tried to put the like essence of like the beauty of the movie with the visualness, like the visually stunning parts of the movie into this vinyl. So the sleeves holding the vinyl itself are all little like pictures from the movie. And also on the vinyl itself, you have more pictures of the movie. It's a double LP. It's really fun music to listen to. It relaxes you but freaks you out at the same time, which is what David Fincher wanted to happen with the music. So next I have Reservoir Dogs, the soundtrack. I know what you're thinking. What color is it? It's your typical black vinyl, but you can get there's a Mr. Red, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue, Mr. Brown, Mr. Yellow. I think that's all the colors. There's one for every color that they mentioned in the movie. So fortunately, I didn't get one of those. Wanted one, but I didn't. But I still love. It's not like soundtrack music. It's the radio show. Basically, it's the radio show that they play throughout the film. So there's the back with all the tracks on it. And finally, a band I just got into. They're a death metal band, and this is Obituaries Inked in Blood. Gatefold vinyl, double vinyl. Here's the inside. And this one is on bone white color. So that's really cool. I know there's like a camouflage color. And there's actually like a bone splatter with blood color. Um, this album, I like the new Cannibal Corpse album a little bit more than this album, but this album still is pretty brutal. Um, while I was gone, I also got to see Mad Max Fury Road, which is honestly my favorite movie of 2015. Terminator, which is it was all right. The more and more I think about it, the less I kind of like it. It's really good. It's just very confusing. I also saw the new Poltergeist remake, which I did not like at all. There was just something about it that was really annoying. I think it was like, honestly, it was the character, the two people that played the parents. There was just something about them that were annoying. And then I also saw a little indie film called Dope, and it's produced by Puff Daddy, or he goes by Sean Combs, Pharrell, Forrest Whitaker, and it's about kids in, I think, Inglewood, California, who are obsessed with 90s rap hip hop. And it was just a really fun coming of age movie. I'm going to try to keep making more and more videos, not like every week, but at least update this site, my YouTube channel, as much as possible. So stick around, and hopefully I'll have more videos for you. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at Hardcore Horror Nerd. See you guys later.